Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Morning Gardener. Hello, hello, hello. Had an interesting day today. I did go out after taking care of some things earlier part of the day, which doesn't pertain to gardening, but what the heck. It was some couple of things at work. I had to go take my COVID shot today. I did that, and wasn't painful at all. And it was over in a few minutes. And the other thing was they have you sit for about 15 minutes afterwards until they see that you're not having any reaction. And then a few days later, 28 days, for instance, you go back and take the other one. So everything was good today. Stopped by, got something to eat. I was really hungry after getting the shot. I noticed that, really hungry. And so anyway, I got something to eat, and I was tired. I got some sleep, much needed rest. I just want to tell you that I stopped into Home Depot and I tried to get some seeds. I stopped at Walmart. The one that I go to doesn't have the seeds out as of yet. Spoke to a person at the counter, said they'll be in around February. I want to get them as soon as good evening, Sue Miller. Hello, how you doing? And I want to say that I did keep an eye out for, seeds all over the place. I'm just trying everywhere to get the seeds before they get. Oh, and I noticed that a lot of packs were gone from certain sections of I call it the seed bar. So that being said, bada boom, bada bang. I'm going to get my seeds. I want the only thing I'm really interested in is the Walmart 50-cent seeds. That's what I'm really interested in. Oh, hello, how you doing? Hello. Had a good time watching your show the last time when you were live. I enjoyed it. Showed a couple of people some clips from your show. Wait a minute. Let me see something here. Let's see if you remember this, because I did keep, I carried on my cell phone and said, it's just a photo so I could show people. See? And so people looked at it and they was like, oh wow, okay, yes. And so the thing about it is I live for this. I love it. Every waking moment, and the only thing that's holding me right now is I cannot get started yet. I do have some things I put in the ground, which is some ginger, and that's in the ground, and so I'm looking forward to basically getting started for the put the plants in. Now remember, folks, if you're doing any seedlings, as soon as that's so awesome. Thank you for that. No problem. Anytime. I love the show. And I also like the equipment that you use for your show. The video quality is really good. The sound quality is good. And I look for that now in some of the videos because but the equipment right now is extremely, in my opinion, expensive to get the really good stuff there. And so, because I remember the one I used for the last 4 years, I think it was 4 years, 5 years. It was a $9 camera. It was a $9, maybe $10 camera. And so, kind of upgraded a little bit, but at any rate, I'm looking for seeds. That's what I'm interested in. And I heard you say a lot of people talk a lot about using eggshells. I watched a video on It was Lead Farmer 73. I watched one of his videos today, and I saw that he was putting some eggshells around the base of a tree, and also he put another thing around there, which was it was called a coffee grinds. Excuse me. And so that was put around the tree, and I looked at it and said, okay, that's a good idea. Now, people I see put this right here is a bag. I keep showing this because I'm so proud of how I saved it. Saved some money. This is eggshells. This is eggshells. Put in a blender. And the recipe for this bag here, which is about, I don't know, about 6-7 ounces. Three cartons, small eggs. That's the recipe. Put them down in there, fill up the blender, fill it all the way to the top, mash them down a little bit, fill them to the top, and just grind it on down. And when you grind it down, it will definitely do the deal. And did I wash the shells? No. Did I put them in the oven and bake them? No, I didn't do any of that. All I did was take them and put them in the food processor after they completely dried, and I use them at that point. Now, one thing that I have learned is that if you feel the eggshells, this is the consistency of fine sand, and that's the consistency here. You're not going to put this in a plant that that you think is going to get the nutrients like that. It's not going to happen. This is long term. This is long term, and so you get calcium to your plant, that sort of thing. You put that down there for just improving your soil, and that way eventually it'll get to your plant. But it's not fast action at all. Period. So I just want everybody to be aware of that. A lot of the fertilizers that you put in the ground is going to be long term before they ever receive it. You want to put. I do a lot of foliar feeding of plants, and I wish right now in my storage area where I have all of my fertilizer, and I bought folks. Listen to me when I tell you this. I bought a lot of fertilizer. I cannot resist it when a bag is $1.15, $1.25 for a 4-pound bag of organic fertilizer. Now, alfalfa, I keep preaching that as well, because I'm telling people to go get that. Is if you're near a feed store, tractor supply store, you can get it's basically alfalfa, just alfalfa in a bag. It's in a 40-pound bag, about $17. You put that around your fruit trees, you put that around your plants. You put that in your soil mix when you're making potting mixes and that sort of thing, and you will see a fertilizer that will stick by you, give you enough the nitrogen and a slow release. It'll do. Your plants will really pop. If you plan on doing flowers, it's really great for those because it's really high in those other two very valuable nutrients. After nitrogen, and you'll see it and know that you did the right thing by looking at the deep green leaves and the size of the leaves, and know that the plant is healthy and doing well. You will have to spend thank you for the thumbs up. You would have to spend a great deal of time actually just paying attention to your plants. They do communicate with you. Plants, in fact, do absolutely communicate with you, and they do it through their leaves. They do it through their color, their brightness of the flowers, or the number of blossoms that they're producing. You do have issues with not having enough pollinators, so don't worry about pollinators. A lot of times, get you a paintbrush, or get you oh God, I sometimes some people remove the male plant and the petals around it and use it to spread the pollen around. That's a good idea. You also could use a paintbrush. Now, Food Farmers Permaculture recommended using a black paintbrush, which I thought was a really good idea, because when you use a black paintbrush, you can see, of course, you can see the pollen that's on the black brush. So that's my next investment, is to get a paintbrush to, put the pollen down. Hello, how you doing there? Food Farmers Permaculture. Yes, sir. I'm back from the job, getting my first COVID shot today, and as you can see, I'm still upright. Um, and so but quite a few people, at the job said no, they're not getting it unless this becomes mandatory. But I want to go ahead and get it out of the way. So each and every person, they got to do what they feel is right for them. All right. Let's see. Paintbrush works. Yes, the paintbrush will be in part of my arsenal. But here's what I'm going to add to my arsenal. I'm going to go to a store and purchase a work belt. You know, the kind that the carpenters use and electricians, that sort of thing, with the multiple pockets and that sort of thing on it. Because I want to be able to carry my secateurs, I want to be able to carry my paintbrush, I want to be able to carry, if I need a little small container of alcohol to spray on my tools, I want a little bottle that will fit into the little pocket, so I can walk around and do what I got to do correctly. Because I don't like ink and a pencil, and also that little tape I like to carry around so I can walk around and tie up plants as I move about throughout the orchard. And I want to be able to tie my plants back up and make sure that they're done correctly. Um, so that in and of itself will help make the job easier. Now, I will not be digging any of I use it as so yeah. I thought about using a feather as well, but I said, well, either that or the male, the paintbrush. And the paintbrushes, you go to the dollar store, grab a couple of paintbrushes, and go ahead and get the thing done. But a soft paintbrush that's designed for like real fine artwork would probably work really good. Feathers come to a point as well. Yes, come to a point as well. Yes, comes to a point. Um, but I want to definitely let you know that what you're primarily growing when the year comes in is you're growing soil. Soil. That's the most important thing to grow. Food Farmers Permaculture is very knowledgeable about that. You go check out his site and see some of the things that he's talking about, and make certain that you go to some of the videos he has pertaining, especially to soil. Beautiful Nest TV, a beautiful Nest TV. I like that show too. It's very pleasant and got a lot of good information. Her garden is way needed in mine, because that's something I have to work on. I just like to I just grow food. That's it. Um, I've taken out pretty pieces of landscape on my property when I first purchased the property. Um, and Miss Miller, of course, you get a lot of good information from her. And check her out sometime, Miss Miller, Sue Miller. It's got the handle on. I know I saw a lot of you. I could learn some things that you're doing with your storage of foods and that sort of thing. Yes. Oh, let's see what we got here. Grams. Hello, how you doing? Let's see. Nighttime with it's hello, fellow gardener. Say hello to everyone. I like that. Came in the room. Say hello to everyone. We're just talking about gardening because a lot of us are up late and we're thinking about being pumped up for getting ready for the gardening season because it's going to be a charge this year. You're going to see that a lot of people are going to need food, folks. A lot of people are going to need food because the prices are going to do that straight up. That's what the price is going to do this year. Do not look for the grocery store. And I'm going to explain it to you in this way. A lot of countries that had a lot of these storms this year, the grounds are saturated. They weren't able to put in what they needed to get it done. So they're going to be buying from everybody. And the U.S. ships a lot of corn, a lot of soybeans, and they're going to be buying up a lot of stuff here. So when that happens and the supplies become at a certain point where, they can charge what they want. They can charge what they want, and we're going to be stuck there to have to purchase these prices. It's going to affect a whole lot of things. The fuel prices are going to affect. It's going to affect food prices. Everything that's made with corn, everything that's dealt with corn oils and everything. It's just going to be soybeans. Everything that's used in soybeans. You're going to see a change in the cost of subsistence, food, if you will. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you. You're going to see that. So don't wait till the last minute. Don't say to yourself, "Oh, I'll get some seeds when I get them." If you have the extra change, let's see what I got here, running around here. I went out today looking for seeds, and I think I'm going to wait until February, which is a few days away. And I wanted to. I didn't take any pictures today when I was in the store. I wanted to take some pictures of being in the store looking for the seeds, but I just got excited. I'm looking at some shelf. I need more shelf space for the fertilizers that I have, and I don't think I'm gonna buy any more fertilizers. And I said that before, and I usually want to find them if they're absolute right price. Hello, how you doing? All right, if people are stopping by, I appreciate that. Uh, Make certain that you have enough seeds this year, folks. You're going to find that there are going to be two things that are going to be very scarce. One is seeds, and the other one is fertilizer. Um, don't spend all your money on fertilizer when fertilizer prices start going up and soaring. Don't do that. Go out there, get you some grass, get you some weeds, put them in some water in a large enough container that will do your property what you need to do. And when you put this there, let it sit for about 3 to 4 weeks, preferably a little further away from your neighbors. And once you do that, you allow it to ferment. And once that happens, you're going to have some of the best fertilizer on earth. You can strain it if you want to and put it in spray bottles or whatever. You want to mix it at 1 part to 10 parts. If you're doing seedlings, seed trays, it's 1 part to 15 parts of the water. 1 part to 15 parts of water. And you'll have some very good fertilizer. Remember, weeds are very good fertilizer because of one thing. They survive anywhere. They could grow in a crack with no soil. They could grow in the side of a wall. Strong plants, powerful plants. And you're making just basically a tea with them. And that tea is low cost, try free. You could water your garden. Your grass with it. You could put that down. Water your grass with it. Turn your grass just as pretty green and grow like crazy. And some of the they get this information. Some of the landscaping people be doing this, I'm pretty sure, because they'll just get those big 67 size drums, 67 gallons, and push some weeds and grass down in there and let them sit for 3 or 4 weeks and strain it off and put it in big bottles and spray it everywhere. And you'll see that it will make a perfect fertilizer free. Of course, you have to mix it down. Another thing is make certain that you have the seeds. The genetics is what you're looking for. You're trying to get the seeds in your possession so that if you need to grow additional tomatoes, additional cucumbers, additional we're talking about okra. Okra is the word. I always have problems with that word. Okra. Make sure that you have those things that you love, the things that you think will sell if you're selling some of your food. You want to make sure that you get certain seeds, like peppers are always a plus. Go to the grocery stores. Get the ripe peppers. If you see them red or yellow, and you open them up, use them for whatever purpose you're going to use them for. And remember to take the seeds out. That's free seeds, folks. Free seeds. And you can use those to produce peppers. And it's like getting a 2-for-1. And the peppers right now, and you will see that in more expensive grocery stores, you're going to see peppers that are, they're what is that, 3 for like $5. That's robbery, but that's what they're charging in some stores. And so, but you get the peppers. Now, you want to get jalapeno, you can do like that, bell peppers, all the other hot peppers, the chilies and all of that. You can get those and you could save the seeds and put them in the ground this year. And that will be your pepper seeds. Instead of buying a pack of pepper seeds for like almost $3 a pack, you can absolutely just get them from your peppers and plant them. Same thing with your tomatoes or your maters. But you got to be careful. You got to get a really ripe tomato and then go ahead and cut it up and put them in the top layer of the flower pot and then cover it over with about 1/4 of an inch of soil over the pieces of tomato that you're putting in there, and then watch them just come up and grow. They'll grow tomatoes. How true to the parent, I don't know, but I do know that you'll be able to grow tomatoes. that way. If you are in a dire situation where you cannot get tomato seeds, that's just an option. Buy quality tools because they last longer. The one thing that I like to have in my garden and is a must is that manure fork. It does so many things. It actually put my shovels to rest. I have an expensive shovel, and I have some, what I call them Walmart shovels. And my Walmart shovel is about 20 some years old, so $8 went a long ways when I bought that shovel. Keep them clean, keep them sharp, because you do less work. Good night. Good night, everyone that's going out. Good night and enjoy yourself. But I appreciate you stopping by. You like to do camera? Is the picture nice and clear? Is the sound good? I want to know if the sound is good. My voice is kind of heavy tonight. Oh, thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you very much. I see the thumbs up there. Yes. So just do what you've been doing with your gardens. Make sure you plant more. And I think that you're going to have a good gardening year. I think you're going to have a good gardening year. There's tons of information out there. Just don't do me one favor. Don't chuck all your money in your garden. Just it's a very good sound. Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Okay, so we got check up on the sound. I appreciate that. So we're going to make certain that keep your garden healthy and strong, but you don't have to spend a lot of money to do it. We've been trained to do that, spend up our money. Yeah, we've been trained to do that, to really shove out some money. Let's see, very good. Oh, thank you very much. Very good video. Thank you. And so what I'm doing now is I am happy. I got a lot done this week, folks. I got a lot done this week. But I am going to be one of the people that will get in line and get those seeds when Walmart brings out those 50-cent seeds. I will be in line. I will be one of the people getting some of those, because what people do with the seeds at Walmart is they go grab a stack of them, and a stack of these, open the packs, pour them into a little baggie, put them on eBay for $2 when they bought them for 50 cents, and they make their money on that. And they'll be able to do that because the market will be there for it. It'll be there for people will buy it because they will say, I couldn't find these seeds, or I really like cherry tomatoes, or I really like the beefsteak tomato, big boys, or whatever. And if you can get the seeds, and you could make a hell of a profit on them, and they don't cost much to ship. And you know, you could get them, you could sell it. You could definitely sell it. And it depends on how you market it as well. People usually stick seeds on there and they don't say the right things. You got to put them on there and let them know, hey, these seeds germination rate is very high. These are fresh seeds packed for 2021. You got to put that on there because people don't see that. They think you got 3-4 year old seeds that you found in the drawer somewhere and you're selling. And they don't like that because they don't know if, in fact, those seeds have a very high germination rate. They don't know. So I want each of you to do that. I want y'all to get out there and grow everything you can possibly grow. Yeah, it's hot in here. Let me turn this down a little bit. Okay, that's better. I've been having issues with my furnace, but I'm doing good now. But once I get my seeds started, our last frost date here in Maryland, and I want to give you all a little trick that I use. You can write it down if you like, but if not, don't worry about it. It'll still stick in here. You say, oh, I don't, wonder why I didn't think of that before. It's just common sense type of approach. The last frost date we have here in Maryland is April 15th. Last frost date. Can't even talk now. And so once you look at that date, go another 2 weeks down and make that your frost date. Don't put them in there on April 15th for you to put your plants in. Then you get a couple of cold snaps within that 2 weeks period of time. No, wait the 2 weeks and then put them in. Don't put them right in on April 15th or whatever your frost date is. Don't put them right in on that date, because that's going to be crazy. If you put them out there and then it gets cold a couple of nights and you lose your plants. Another thing is a lot of people buying those plants from the stores. Very good video. A lot of people buying the plants from the stores. They're going to be marked up this year. I have no interest in plants that are that come into the stores that are $3 a piece and all of that sort of thing. I don't have any interest in those at all. I just turned the furnace down. I just want to turn it down. So God darn this. It was set at 68. I don't need it to hide at night. It's nighttime, time to go to sleep. Let's see. We got free compost here in city. The city collects yard waste and is one of government programs. You know something, Miss Miller? I do appreciate you a ton. I appreciate you a ton. We have those free programs here in Maryland, but it's only allocated towards the county. Now, another thing that they ask is that you come pick it up. So if you don't have a truck, like I have a small Jeep, and it's not enough to put a dent in anything. Now, we do have in the city what they call green zones. Green zones, we call it here in Baltimore. And what happens with the green zones is that if you can prove that you are a guardian that's tied to certain agencies here in the inner city, you can actually, no, not the inner city, but the city or the county, and they will deliver compost to you. But when they deliver it, let me just say this to you. It comes in one of those huge city pickup trucks. They don't mess around with no. I just need a couple. I just need a little bit to fill up that hole over there. You just said they don't deal like that. They deal in when they tell you to come and bring you some, you'll get ready to get some. You better have some space for it, and access for the truck that's coming in. Because my only issue is access to the back of my property. He's got to go around on somebody else's property, turn the truck around, and when the truck lifts up and back, make sure it doesn't hit any of the electrical wiring that runs to buildings. That's an issue. I didn't know that was an issue. One day I had one of the tree removal people. They had a huge truck out there. Probably was 20,000 pounds of the stuff on there. And I said, "Hey, could you come out to the back of it?" And he didn't have an issue with it. He didn't. He looked and said, he thought I could empty out my whole truck here, and I got an empty truck. But when he looked up and he saw that wire running across, he said, "Oh no, I can't." He said, "Wire there is gonna, and it's gonna create an issue." And I said, "Oh, come on, can I catch a break? Can I catch a break?" So, nothing we can do about that I can think of at this point. But I was thinking if he would have just lifted up just enough, and you could take a shovel and start raking it down out of there. But he didn't want to do all that. He wanted to lift that truck up, dump it, actually have it fall from the truck, and he would have gave me all I wanted. But at that point on the property, you could put enough in it. Just don't cover up my fruit trees. Just some here, some there, and like that. And I would have been able to take every bit of it that he had. But that would have, by now, most of that would have been compost. Most of it would have been compost by now. And compost, like you were saying this moment, that if you can get it from the city and that sort of thing, that can be a plus. But I don't know how. I guess they get it hot enough so to kill some of the the issues that you can come up with it, because I've seen them grab those bags of people leaves, tree cuttings, and all of this, and it's just I say in my neighborhood I got here. Grab it together. So we put the hook in trash cans and bought it here. Yeah, beautiful move. Yeah, trash cans are very good receptacle to use to do that. Absolutely, absolutely, I agree. And the thing about it is, when you are getting that compost, you're getting some of the best stuff for what? The soil. And that's what you're trying to grow in your yard. If you redirect or change your way of thinking and just say, I'm here to grow good soil. And the plants will go along with the ride, and they'll do very well. But just make sure you're growing soil. I really feel good today. I mean, got a lot done. And so when you do that, make certain that you grow everything you need. I mean, put it in there, and even though you put the compost down, you may want to use a foliar spray on top of that as well, to make certain that your plants get food, um, and they get what they need. Because when they grow those seeds at the nurseries, they baby the heck out of these plants. So that's why when you get them at home, sometimes they don't do too well, because they came from parents that were like the Howells on Gilligan's Island. They were pampered. They did not going to grow with you. Water this day, miss that day. Forgot to fertilize this week. Going to fertilize next week. They're not geared for that. They're not geared for that. They'll get mad with you quick and stop growing on you, or act like they're stunted, or they'll cut back their production. Um, and you want to make certain that you don't have this situation happening to you. And that's how that works. And that's how I want people to look at it, in the future, is that I'm trying to grow food. I'm not trying to um, watch this plant struggle, and I need to make certain this plant has all of the tools it takes to produce a ripe, pretty, sweet tomato, or a pepper with brilliant color and taste, texture. You want that, and so that takes you actually putting in the work and making certain. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you. So that being said, make sure that you get out there, do your thing, like you've been doing for years. But just take some of the information I'm giving you, for instance, saving money. When you had poor families in the U.S. many years ago, there were no box stores, there were no fancy stores. Everything they used primarily was right there on their farm. And when they would kill a chicken, or kill a large pig or cow, everything from that cow was used for the family, and the blood and the bones and everything. So they use a lot of things for their gardens and for their growing of food. And compost was a very important part of that. And then came the 70s. In comes chemical compost. I mean, excuse, chemical food for your plants. And it got your plants addicted, because monoculture started growing plants one way for many years, and then the soil becomes depleted for certain nutrients. And then they say, well, how can we fix that in the short term? Somebody said, we can put chemicals down and simulate the nutrients that are in the soil. So they put it down. Now your plants are junkies. The soil is really bad. It's just nice tip, morning gardener. Nice tip, morning gardener. Anytime. I'm glad. Oh, there's a gentleman, that the bull. I don't want to leave here without saying the bull, the gardener, the bull. Did a shout out to some of his favorite gardeners, who are mentors. It'll say in the video, mentors. Uh, Miss Penny. Hello, how you doing? Any suggestions on how to keep seeds warm in seed trays without plugging in a warmer? Or one is, if you have a refrigerator, you can set them on top. If you have one of those type of refrigerators that warm up on top, you can set them up there. that's one suggestion I can think of. The warming mats for germination help things germinate faster. In the rooms that you have these plants in, if they tell you peppers like a certain temperature, you want to make sure that that temperature is met, because it just helps your plants germinate better. Um, and and be mindful of the watering, because a lot of times you can have damping off if you overwater your plants, and that's always going to be an issue when it comes to feeding those little darlings. And check your seedlings every day, not just every other day, because you go away for 2 days and be working and dealing with the family and come back and you'll have a tray full of dead seedlings. And you say, how did they die? And they'll be completely dried out. You'll say, wait a minute, where did the water go? Because when you put those lights over top of those trays, they tend to dry them out as well. I saw the bull video this morning about you. Oh yes, yes. He put that up there, and I appreciated that. I mean, I appreciate that, and I appreciated the one that each of you's Miss Beautiful Nest TV put out. She was giving some people some information where to find me at, and the things that are part of my show, and I definitely do appreciate that. Um, I don't claim to know it all, but I've made a lot of mistakes when I first started out. I mean, a lot, and I learned from every single mistake. And then I understood that the most important part of what you're trying to do is grow soil. You're not growing plants, you're growing soil. The soil is absolute key. The obsession that I have is a disorder. The plants, I'm absorbed in this. This is what I do. I've woke up at night. I woke up at night and I'd be thinking about just gardening. And I get on the computer about 3:30 in the morning. And I got a list around here that I wrote up for. Let me just show you. I'll be right back. I get up at night and I write a little list of things I need to do pertaining to different ideas I have in the soil. I have a drum sitting outside right now. It's probably about 4 or 5 months old. Well, not probably, it is. And all that's in there is weeds and grass. It's been rained on, snowed on, and everything. I didn't put a drop of water in there. It's in a big receptacle, brand new receptacle, about 67 gallons. And it is pure ambrosia. Plants are going to love it. It's 4 months old, which means it is in perfect. All the grass clippings, all the weeds that were in there are completely turned into a soup. And they will be used, and they will help my plants to become stronger. I want what the weeds have in their genetics to go through my plants so that my plants will be strong. And the chop and drop method that I'm using this year, when I put the grass clippings around the plants, the grass clippings will, as a mulch, will keep the soil temperature regulated. They will also not only keep the soil regulated, they will fertilize the soil. So my plants are getting multiple sources of different fertilizers, from the grass clippings to the weed tea that I made, from the initial investment when I put in the organic fertilizer, and I'm using another organic fertilizer to make for my trees, and so they're not just eating one thing. My plants are not going to be just eating one thing. Corn, heavy feeder. Does not like it when it gets hungry and it wonder where the food's coming from because it'll make adjustments. The plant will make adjustments. Same thing going for tomatoes. Heavy feeder, it will make adjustments, and you'll say, "Wow, what happened to these plants? Why aren't they surviving? Why aren't they thriving? Why aren't they producing massive amounts of large tomatoes?" Because it's something that the person planting it is not done to make that possible. Uh, Leaving the suckers on the tomato plants and saying, "Well, I'll get around to it." Take those bastards off of that because they're sucking energy trying to grow another. Um, it's a shoot coming out the side trying to grow another plant, um, essentially. And you want to make sure that you do some pruning to that. If you're growing blackberries, make sure that you keep the blackberry plants cut 2 feet, 3 feet, um, and let them bush out so that you get more berries. You get more, and that's what you want to do. You don't want to grow in one long 16 to 20-foot cord and producing maybe 3 or 4 or 5 berries on it. You don't want that. You want to make certain that you take care of the plant, feed it, make sure it's in a place where it gets plenty of sun. And if you want to grow the plant out and just let it grow out, just let it grow out for a few years, let it really establish itself, and then come and cut all of the bad, not the bad, but the old, dead, and rotted, parts of the plant out, and then allow, when you cut all that back, fertilize again, but be careful to use fertilizer with a low nitrogen, because you want berries, you don't want a bunch of green growth. A lot of people make that mistake, and they'll take tomatoes and go get a organic fertilizer and say, "Well, um, I grew my other plants with this. I'm gonna use it for this as well." But tomatoes like to have certain nutrients to cause blossoms and that sort of thing. And you must have pollinators. A lot of tomato plants pollinate either by pollinators or they pollinate through the wind. And sometimes you can shake those little yellow flowers with your fingers. You can shake them every other day or every second or third day. Shake those plants, those blossoms, and allowing them to fertilize the other blossoms. So that's what you want to do. You want to make certain that you're doing everything in your power, and don't leave the whole job up to the bees, because we do have an issue where there are not a lot of bees here in the U.S. anymore. When I was a kid, and I remember there were bees everywhere. I mean, it was nothing to go out on a Saturday morning and get stung by a bee. If you were playing with them, of course, you'd have to do something crazy like I did, which was playing with them. But the thing about it is that you would make absolute certain that your plants are fertilized by just doing it yourself. Going out there with a paintbrush like Mr. Food Forest Permaculture recommended. Going out there and doing it yourself. Do not wait for the bees, because they're not. Sometimes they may not come to your plant for days, and you may have some issues. All right. Let's see. Need green, brown. It turn it when cold at night. Okay. Alrighty. All right. Keep it. It's to cover. Okay. Okay. Now, as far as covering a compost pile, that's a good question. That's a good question. I know I don't cover my compost pile, and some people do. I've done some research and found that some people swear by it. Cover your compost because it'll save from rain leaching out all the nutrients, and it'll save it. And let me tell you something. Here's how I go about it. Do what nature does. Forget about what farmers tell you, and forget about what other these very I call them eggheads, as far as the gardeners that come online. And no disrespect to anyone, but watch them when they're telling you this can only be done this way or this can only be done that way. Watch them, because they do not have all of the facts sometimes. They only know what works in their location. They only know what works for them. But if you look at fertilizer in nature, it's not covered up. It hits the ground and it sits there until it decays. The biology comes up from the bottom, goes in all up through your compost pile, eats, excretes their waste, live, and then die right there in the pile. All of that is going on in that pile. And when that is going on, it creates a situation where when you put that around your plants, the biology comes up in that area where your plant is, feeds and go back and forward between your roots and plants and eating, and your plant is producing sugars in trade for what they're giving it. It's a beautiful relationship. And that's why when you put compost around a plant at the right time, which is early as you possibly can get around that plant, you'll see the plant do a couple of things. One, it'll grow and it'll green up real good and it'll produce. It'll produce because the biology in the soil is what's causing your plant to grow. A lot of people think it's a bag of fertilizer. No, it's not. The biology is eating the bag of fertilizer that you sprinkle around the plant. And that's why you see your plants growing. That's how it works, folks. It's the biology living and dying, excreting waste around the roots of your plants is what's causing you to have that baked potato or that carrot or that piece of corn that you're eating. It's not got nothing to do with that bag of fertilizer that you just bought from Walmart, other than the fact that they use that to eat. And you want to make certain that you don't over fertilize when it comes to these bags, especially when you're dealing with the man-made chemicals like the what they call it, Miracle Grows. You know, when I first started out, I was just like everybody else. I grabbed a Miracle Grow. It showed all those great commercials back in the day. It said Miracle Grow, make your plant go, and they show you a plant that's like this and the other one's like this, and it says Miracle Grow, you know, and it showed deep dark green leaves. And what you didn't know is most likely that other plant was grown by compost. Compost grows the best plants on earth. It's that simple. And when I see people go out there, like Walmart had the bags of, it said worm castings. And I could never figure that out. I said, why are people buying worm castings when in fact the worm castings are in the compost pile? Because the worms crawl in and out of the compost pile. It's not like they go in the compost pile, eat, and then go outside the compost pile to use the restroom. They use it right there in the compost pile, which in turn leaves you worm castings in the compost. I just never understood that. Oh, thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you. Got 9 thumbs up. Wow, 9. And if you could try to disturb your soil as little as possible. Try to disturb that soil as little as possible. Keep digging and rototilling through it. What they call it, tilling. I did that years ago. Don't do that. Don't do the work. Don't do the. If you can help it, don't till the soil. Don't till the soil. Soil being tilled is a soil that has got issues with drying out and getting hard and not having biology there in the soil at certain levels. You need to have biology at certain levels. The only thing going to bring biology up in certain levels is the fact that they have something there to eat. And that's why Miss Miller said getting compost. Because if you can get enough compost, and if you can do that consistently, you'd have one of the best gardens on earth. One of them. Because all gardening is putting the getting the right environment set up. And the biology will come, and the worms, which is part of the biology, will come, and you will see things happen that you've never seen before in that soil. Even if it's that old heavy clay soil like we have in Maryland here. We have primarily clay soil. The majority of the gardeners have clay soil. Believe it or not, that's what they have. majority, I didn't say all, majority, clay soil. And they struggle with that clay soil. And they try each year to say, why won't this grow? Why won't this grow? Why won't this grow? Oxygen to the roots, that's essential. That is absolutely essential. So I use a healing method when I do my gardening. I use a healing method. And that's in part of my plans. It's right there because I'm planting in heavy clay soil. Why would I plant it flat and put the plant in there, had the rain come, tighten the soil back up, and you don't have much oxygen getting to the roots. Oxygen is essential. Tilling the soil here in Idaho kills the native worms. Oh, absolutely, you're killing the worms. You're 100% correct. You're killing the biology in the soil when you go down and rip up their homes that they've established. And keep in mind, if the soil is poor, the biology is not as plentiful in that area. It's just not. That's why you have issues with your soil a lot of times. Is that the biology isn't there. So in order to build up the biology would mean to bring in compost, bring in some the plant life needed to rejuvenate the soil. It don't ever allow another person on earth to make gardening complex to you again. Don't ever do it. It's just adding organic matter. Simple. That's it. Organic matter. Whether it grows right there on your property, like I do, I'm cheating. I'm cheating a great deal. I let the soil produce the grass and produce the weeds, and that's what I do. And I chop it off, and that's my cover, and that keeps my soil covered, and that keeps my soil fertilized. And I start fertilizing in the fall and let it go all the way around to spring, and my soil is charged and ready to go. And that's simple. And I try to tell people that because I feel it will help them. I feel it would help them, and that's why I tell them. No, don't be running around and going to the box store buying bales of hay and straw and all that stuff, and bring it there at $10, $12 a bale, and then you get it there, you don't have enough. People are running out. Hey, it needs some wood chips, and you're getting in wood chips, and and bring that in. And sometimes you can get it, sometimes you can't. I say if you can get the wood chips, you got a good supply of the wood chips, go get it. The reason why I stopped the wood chips because it was just hard getting wood chips. First, I told a large company, hey, I need wood chips. Yes, they gave them to me. Enough to cover up my whole driveway. I had two cars that used to park in my driveway. A town car, you know how big they are, 22 feet long, and I had a Jeep. No, it was a mid-sized car. It was pretty good size from the 80s, big mid-sized car. Anyway, I had two truckloads in one day, covered the whole driveway. Took me weeks to move it by myself. Took me weeks to move the wood chips. Weeks. And then I had a kid come over to help me, and he had to help me because I was just killing myself out there. It was just that much, folks. It was that much on the property that I just couldn't, but I kept at it. My hands were swollen from moving that much and using the shovels and pitchforks and whatever. It was incredible. It was incredible. It was mountains of it, and these trucks left it there. And a week later, 2 weeks later, they called me and said, "You need it. We're in the area. You need another load." I had to say no, because there was nothing I could do at that point. And you know what they did? They stopped bringing them. They stopped calling and everything. Because there was nothing I could do. I could not take anymore. It took weeks to move that much wood chips. It was 20,000 pounds of wood chips. It was a mountain of them. And they were heating up. The wood chips were so hot when you stuck your hand inside the pile, it would burn your hand. and that much heat. I was concerned about how hot will it get. But next door to my neighbor's house, it was crazy. As I use a little lawn tractor, 21 horsepower, and I use trash cans. I just kept going back and forward and back and forward, and it looked like I haven't even put a dent in it. That's how much wood chips. I got a video up on it. It's way back in the day, but it'll show it. Um, and so that is. Oh, hello. How you doing? How you doing? People coming into the room. I appreciate that. The thing about it is, organic matter is the key. Your soil, organic matter, that's the key. If you can get 4 to 6 inches just compost on top of your soil, or like I say, like I could use, I do soil mixes with my compost because I don't have a ton of it, but I use it and sparingly, but I use it in a way that I mix it into my hill that I make, and I put my plant into that hill, and that's how I do it. And that's how I do it, because I am not going to bury a plant in clay soil and then have those roots come out like this and can't get past the clay. Uh, I'm not going to do that. I know better than that now. I've done it in the past, and for years knew that, but I wasn't 100% sure. But I knew that if you take the hills and you make it a nice size hill, the roots will grow all the way to the end. They will self prune or air prune, and they will fill up that hill with roots, and it will get all the nutrients that you're putting in there. You put the grass clippings over top of all of that, 2 inches thick. You put the grass clippings over top of that, about 15 inches out from each plant, and you fill that area. The grass clippings will keep the soil cool when it's hot outside. When everybody else stuff stop growing, when it gets hot, yours will still be growing. When it rains and it moistens that soil, your water around your plants will stay there. Your soil will stay there, your moisture. When you constantly water your plants and you've already fertilized them with, I don't have the fertilizer right here with me. You simply wash out your fertilizer with your water. And all you're doing is trying to water them, but you're washing them out. You also know that when it rains, it washes the fertilizer from your plants. You need to find a method so that you don't have to constantly keep watering. What better way to do that than to mulch around your plants? Mulch around your plants keeps moisture there, keeps soil temperature regulated, so it's not extremely hot during those hot days when you get up 100 degrees. Your soil doesn't soar. I have a temperature, digital temperature gauge, that when I get ready to go do my gardening in the spring or especially in the summer, thank you for the knowledge and helping others. Oh my God, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Gotta go feed the hubby. Thanks, and bye. Thank you very much, Miss Nola. Thank you. So when you give when you give the mulch a chance, you will find that the grass clippings will be fertilizing your plants, and that the foliar feeding that you're giving to your plants, and a little charge of what you're putting around your plants, which is the compost. You're saying, why didn't I do this years ago? My plants are actually producing more tomatoes. My plants are actually producing, and remember to pull them suckers off of those tomato plants. Take them off. They suck up energy. They grow in plant instead of tomatoes. You want tomatoes. If you want tomatoes, or if you want plant, it depends on what you want. And read the labels on those fertilizers if you buy fertilizers, because what you want to do is make certain that you are not in any way loading up nitrogen. When you see that plant start producing blossoms, that's when you want to lower that nitrogen and increase the other two, but you want those two to be at the highest levels, and allow for those blossoms to come on. You don't want to continue to keep giving the plant what we call nitrogen. Nitrogen grows, green growth is what it grows. And it will tell your tomatoes not to produce tomatoes, or tell you to peppers not to produce peppers. It'll tell them that based on how you're feeding them. But if you give them the right fertilizer and you watch the nitrogen, get your plants up going, gives it the size and the number of leaves that it needs. And then when you start seeing, it's a key, because as I said earlier, your plants do in fact communicate with you. It's the gardener or the farmer that don't know how to read what the signals the plant is giving them. You want to make certain that when you see that plant and it goes one blossom, two blossoms, pull back the nitrogen. Pull back the nitrogen. Don't keep giving it nitrogen, because it's going to keep producing plant instead of tomatoes or peppers. All right, this has been the Morning Garden Show, folks. I want to thank each and every one of you for stopping in and saying hello and writing and telling me what you think of the show, and just being there for me, because it's been a trying year, and for all of us. And I want to thank each and every one of you for being there. Make certain that this year you grow the biggest and baddest garden you want to see on your property. Definitely make sure you got enough food, because it's going to get crazy, folks. And I want to see you with tomatoes. I'd much rather you have tomatoes, an issue with what am I going to do with all these tomatoes, or what am I going to do with all these cucumbers, as opposed to you saying, uh-oh, I don't have enough cucumbers. I really like cucumbers, and the prices at the store is like, let's say, $8 a piece, which I don't see how I would get to that price. But if it did, you would not even blink and worry about it. You said, I got plenty of all of that on my property, and I can share with my friends and family. I donate some to the church. Make certain that you do that. This is the Morning Garden. Remember, my motto is to keep on growing. And for the gentleman that sent me a thank you a week ago, and also to the Bull that did the dedication show in my honor, and I appreciate that very much. Go by, check out his show. Make sure you do that. And also, you got Food Farmers Permaculture. You want to make sure you do that. And they are very knowledgeable gardeners. And just keep on gardening. Remember, folks, looking forward to seeing you here again. Remember, the show is on Mondays. Mondays. Did a little ad, put it up there, so it should be out tomorrow. Tell people to come check out the show on Mondays. Thank you very much. This is the Morning Garden. Have a good day. And remember to keep on growing. Thank you.